So very grateful that Vincent was able to come and talk last week, and very glad that Jacob was willing to communicate and participate in last week's video. Vincent couldn't make it this week, and after the 2 weeks we've had where Mrs. Super Oz stepped up and Jacob has stepped in, well, it'll just be our 3 views this time. So it'll be different, but I think it's become rather apparent throughout the series that we will make it happen. The Bible study will persist and continue, and the conversation will be had. So after the open rolls, Jacob will be here. Mrs. Super Oz will ask us the questions about the reading, and we will give our thoughts on Numbers 14 through 26 and Proverbs 8 through 14. Jacob, thank you for returning.
Absolutely.
Mrs. Super Oz, what is the first question?
What area of your life do you feel is being delayed, and why do you feel that way?
I don't want to be redundant because we've had the conversation on this video about our struggles for parenthood, if you will.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, whatever the proper terminology is, success, not failure, whatever the case may be. And it definitely seems like the most relevant delay, because anything else aside from that is mundane. Anything aside from that is, I won't say childish, but it definitely gives the air of much less important, because anything I would posit about a success or popularity when it comes to either the channel or books that I write pale in comparison to the delay of being parents. Because if things had gone differently, we'd have a 6-year-old and a 1-year-old, and it would just be a completely different existence in some ways, obviously. In other ways, you still go to work, you still pursue, but it changes the reason for everything, because that new life is what the focus would be on. So that is the most obvious delay in what I don't even know if what I expect is the case, because there were years of my life where I didn't expect it at all. And basically there were times when I told you to get lost, not legitimately, but like I understood if you wanted to go elsewhere, because I didn't think I'd ever be able to, or that would happen. And so I'm glad you stuck around. I appreciate that, obviously. But it's one of those things where you, or at least I have had the negative outlook on my own worth when it comes to thinking it won't happen. I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that you're so much, that we're not in the same. She's younger than me.
Okay.
I mean, and so I was like, well, instead of sticking around with me, maybe you could have success elsewhere.
Yeah. To kind of go back off of what you're saying, I feel like it's something that you, for the most part, can't control. I mean, it's...
Oh, for sure.
And that's why, like, to me, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you shouldn't feel that way, because I understand why you would feel the way you do.
Oh, sure.
But I think there's a but to that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of what you would want to think of when it comes to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the why I feel that way just comes down to the life-changing nature of
Yeah.
bringing life
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
What about yourself? Is there
Well, so
anything that you
that's-
feel is delayed,
yeah,
sir?
I was looking at these questions earlier today.
Because you like to cheat and look ahead.
Yeah.
I do too.
I know. I'm the anomaly. I'm the same weirdo.
I just like to. I don't like to be caught off guard.
No, I get it.
But I've been kind of thinking about it a little while, and I just like I couldn't think of a good thing.
Sure.
And it's not. It's
I'm not
not
saying-
because I'm not. It's not because I don't have things I delay. It's
Mm.
just I think it's I'm delaying them for a reason, and then I just don't think about them.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean the one thing that kind of came to mind, and it's I don't know if it necessarily persists with this question because it's what I think it's more based off of what you're currently delaying.
Yeah.
But what I delayed for a while was starting back into church, starting back
Sure.
into my faith and everything like that.
Absolutely.
So, and that's where this is. I'm still kind of at the start of getting back into things. And then as far as the why I delayed it, I don't know that I could give a why. I don't
Sure.
think there's a good reason as to why I did that, why I delayed everything, why I didn't get up and go to church, whatever. Outside of it, we've talked about it before, and it always kind of felt like a chore,
Right. Right.
with in quotations.
Of course,
Um,
I get you. Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I understand the idea of the question bringing up the concept of delay because God delayed the Israelites from getting to the promised land. But to me, a lot of that came down to them longing for the enslavement that he delivered them from. It's like, why should I bring you? I mean, this is a bit of a paraphrase slash, using my own words for it, but like, why should they get the thing that they believe they deserve when they are not even appreciative of the thing they currently have?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's oftentimes why that I try not to dwell on the what I don't have now
Yeah.
and focus on the good of what I do have, because I know that it's come up recently, it feels like more than once, with friends and colleagues about my unease of praying for things that almost feel selfish. Now, granted, I know that if this positive thing would come to pass, I wouldn't use it solely for a selfish reason.
Mhm.
But, it just feels a little icky to be like, man, this
Yeah.
would be super helpful, God.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I see the question being related to God delaying the Israelites from getting to the promised land, but again, I see that delay being put on by their own selfishness slash unappreciative nature about where they had been brought from. And so I get the question very much because, man, we really, humanity-wise, need to appreciate the good that we have before casting it aside for the good that we think we can have.
Yeah, and I definitely struggle with that a lot.
I think it's just very much as human nature, you know?
Thinking of being appreciative of the things that I have. And
Because
Even
you're fairly young, right?
Yeah.
Man, you're, in my opinion, doing real good for the,
Well, thank you.
because like, I legit do think that you're doing good for young.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's definitely a struggle. I mean, for me, the main thing that I struggle with, and I think also you might have been there when we had that conversation one time. It's because I've kind of grown up on social media,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's I don't want to say grown up on social, but around it
Sure.
more than the
Yeah,
average.
You relate more to it.
Yeah.
it's that generation. It was just saturated.
Yeah, and so it's especially hard for me because that's just a part of my day. Like social media is just part of my daily life. That's it.
Yeah,
and
and people always put on a show.
Yep.
Basically.
And that's the thing is I see that stuff and I know that.
Yeah.
I know that they're posting what they want me to see and not what I should see.
Yeah.
But then it makes it so hard to see like, oh, they have this, they have that,
Yeah.
all this stuff, and then it's like, man, I wish I could like, what if I did this? What if I?
Of course. Oh my goodness.
Instead of sitting there and bang.
And how many
look at all
times
the things
is
I
it?
do.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I agree with that 100%. Looking at the things that you do have is so important.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about the author's time of delay slash conversational thoughts?
Sure. I can read from the book. So it says, last year I was on a plane from Texas to North Carolina that was redirected to another destination mid-flight. We landed in South Carolina and sat in the middle of the tarmac for what seemed like hours. Many on board complained because they were missing their connecting flights. Many complained because they had been traveling all day and just wanted to get home. Eventually, I started to complain too. As we waited, the pilot continued to say, "Thank you for your patience, and we will be getting you to your destination very shortly." Each time we heard that statement, it sounded like nothing but an empty promise. What we didn't know was that the pilot was avoiding flying us through a storm. We didn't know that because he'd been steering clear of the storm. We had been in the air so long that the plane needed to be refueled to complete its journey. We were doing all that complaining, not knowing that the pilot was taking the necessary measures to keep us safe. That reminds me of a story in Numbers 14, when the children of Israel were delayed across to their promised land. In this chapter, the children of Israel are instructed to get off their present course of travel, turn around, and take a long route through the wilderness, a journey that would last 40 years. God told them they couldn't go the short way because there were enemies waiting for them and that they weren't prepared to fight. He made them go the long way through the wilderness. But the wilderness was purposeful. It disciplined them, trained them, and prepared them to live at promised land people. In the wilderness, the naysayers died and the new generation of believers was birthed. It did not take 40 years for God to get children of Israel out of Egypt. It took 40 years to get Egypt out of the children of Israel. God delayed their arrival, but he did not deny them the entrance into their promised land.
Yeah, the wilderness was purposeful, I thought was perhaps the best line of that thought, because again, when you worry about what you don't have instead of focusing on what you do, and it's very harmful. But when you work toward getting where you need to be and being who you need to be, I was like, that's what's
And
up.
not questioning.
Right,
reason
exactly.
why.
Because just because we don't understand doesn't mean it's not the right answer.
Yeah.
Are you ready to move on?
Yep.
What is question 2?
How have you handled the delay?
So, I think the easiest answer is we've grown together. And I think that the realization that we don't need to know the answer is the... Thank you for being here at Mr. Super Oz. This video is going out, and this channel only exists because I, Oz, founded Gamble Comics, which first release was Everlasting Survivors, a 68-page graphic novel called All Day Long. Available now. Follow the link in the description that will take you to gamblecomics.com. While there, you can get hats, shirts, posters, much, much more, but most importantly, the story itself. The clearest path to moving forward, because if you're stuck trying to think, oh, I know the right answer, and we don't, obviously, then it just gets you spinning your wheels and you'll never move forward. But I think working together, growing together, I think that's really the answer for how we've survived, because unfortunately there are people that we know that get at odds with one another, and obviously in that case, when that happens, how are you supposed to heal when each other keep ripping apart the wounds? So
Right.
so that's why it's better to work together to improve your turmoil, or treat it, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely a big part of, especially that specific situation.
Sure.
In my opinion. Then again.
Yeah. I think the more couples work toward the same healing, the better they'll be, because if one person is struggling more than the other, then you got to support, and that's in every way of relationship. To me, it's no time will both people be equally in the same strength, if you will. What were you gonna say?
Grieving process.
Well, absolutely, that too. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to kind of see sometimes the outcome of those situations.
Oh yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the situation's not good.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely.
the outcome of those can be.
Well, and this is something that is painful to experience,
Mhm.
but when you share with people, often that's when they open up and share
Yeah.
their hidden pain that you would have never guessed, because there were family members that had similar experiences that kept it to themselves until we opened up, and then we're like, I wish you'd have said something. We'd have tried to
Yeah.
be there, but it's like, you know, I get it. You don't really want to, so
Yeah.
no, it makes sense. But yeah, it's like the more you're vulnerable, the more other people will be vulnerable. So
Yeah. But that's again one of those very hard things.
oh,
Being vulnerable.
exactly.
Very, very hard things.
Well, and I think that's one of the major benefits of small prayer group, but even things like this where you get together and you talk about, you know, the word, and it then brings up things that you probably would have never willingly brought up.
Yeah.
For,
Not just in your day to day.
exactly. Yeah, it turns out I'm not going to just talk about pain and suffering for the fun of it.
I guess back to the question. I guess to kind of. I don't even know how I would answer that as far as my
Yeah.
example.
Well, to me, because you brought up delaying a return, I think that how you're dealing with it is easing in, working together with others
Yeah.
to grow,
Yeah.
to
You know, prayer group at work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or, you know, going and, you know, finding a church.
Yeah.
Those are baby steps.
yeah.
I guess that is true.
Well, and here's the other thing: the connections you're making are setting the light on the path to get you to where you're going.
Mhm.
Because let's say that, so our friend Josh, who is going to be on the channel at one point,
Mhm.
or some point in the future, you know, had he not put out the olive branch to invite you to prayer group, possibly you might not have gone to his church, right? And so, and maybe you still might, but I don't know that.
Yeah.
But because I'm sure he's not shy about saying, hey, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I think that every step along the way is important because it moves us forward to growing.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that. That's actually good. I like that.
Thanks. Yeah, I tried.
Every step.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because I've said it plenty of times when people ask me, oh, how'd you get good at drawing? I was like, I had to draw, right? Or how'd you write this book? I had to write. Same here. How do you grow in your relationship with God? Well, you gotta put in the effort. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, I think it makes sense. Mrs. Superons, what is the third question?
After reading Numbers 14, do you identify with Joshua and Caleb, or do you think you would have been in agreement with the 10 who came back, and why?
I have to believe, and I know this is going to sound like braggadocious, and I don't want to sound braggadocious, but I have to believe that I would keep pushing forward. I believe that I would trust in what the Lord said, because A, I'm stubborn, B, I have not yet given up on my pursuits, and so with that evidence that I'm ridiculous in my willingness to keep trying to find a hit, then to me that makes me believe that I would come back and be like, I don't care how big they are, we got this, you know. I don't care how much of a struggle it is to get to monetization, we're gonna keep going, right? I don't care that I haven't made back my money. We're gonna keep going to cons, we're gonna keep trying to make it, right? Because to see yourself as small as a grasshopper, and I'm never gonna be able to beat the end, you know, be able to take over and get to where I need to be. It's like, well, that's a defeatist mindset, right? The idea that I can't. Like there's this phrase that you see, or at least I see all the time on the internet. It says, whether you say you can or you say you can't, you're right, because it's a matter of whether or not you're willing to do what it takes to make it happen. And if you are, then you can, and if you aren't, then you won't. It actually comes down to conversations you and I have a lot, where I say you have to be committed to whatever it is that you want to accomplish. Like, I don't care how small it is. Do you want to drink water? Well, you have to commit to drinking water, right? I'm just saying, like it's, and so with that mindset, with that outlook, with that attitude, I have to hope upon all hope that I would be like, yes, we can do this. We're the ones, and it's like that's the whole reason. And like I'm jumping ahead, but that's the whole reason that when the Israelites do get the promised land, instead of sending 12 and having 2 come back and say we got this, and 10 say oh we'll never, they just only send 2 the second time. They're just like, all right, let's just go with what worked the first time. 2 of you got this. And then that's when they not bump into, but get the assistance of Rahab, and the whole plan goes into motion. And anyway, but my point is, I just as a person who fights and claws and doesn't stop, like literally at this point, content 7 days a week, like whatever it takes to get to the finish line, I'm willing to go. And so I want to believe that I'm one of the 2, not one of the 10.
I'll be completely honest. I would most likely be a part of the 10. that would probably be me.
It's understandable.
I have that feeling. I would be the same too.
Again, it's understandable. I wasn't trying to be insulting.
No,
like
No,
idea.
but that is your attitude. You have to drive.
Yeah.
I don't. I would need you being the leader to drive me just to stay with you.
See, for me, it'd just be like the part that I would look at is like, okay, there's 10 people going this way, there's 2 people going this way. Like it'd be real hard for me to pick the 2.
No, I get you.
Like,
I get it. I just have this very. I don't know. I don't even know how to put it. But like I was working on a resume, and in it I was saying how that it didn't matter if I was directing a TV show or if I was deployed to Iraq. Like wherever I am, I just have people looking to me. Like, and I think a lot of it comes down to my sister when I was growing up. She would wait on me, which was weird because she was older than me. But she was like, she would wait on me to start driving, and then she'd start driving, or whatever the case may be. She just saw me as the leader, which I
followed.
Yeah, she followed, which is fine. People follow, other people don't follow. It is what it is. But it's like, it's always been an inherent nature of mine where I was like, oh, I got this.
Yeah.
And so that's why I want to, from experience, I want to believe that I'm going to say, hey, let's go get that promised land, guys.
Yeah, and that would definitely be a struggle for me. I like structure, I like order, and I like comfort. And like, as I'm thinking about it, it's weird because there's almost like some parts of my life where I'm like, I like that comfort, but then there's other parts that it doesn't bother me to not be comfortable. So
interesting.
Just an example, like I think this would be a good example. At work, there's people, and not even at my current job, at previous jobs, whatever, they have no desire to move up.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I absolutely cannot understand that in the slightest. Like, for me, it's all about how far can I get up.
I love that. I love
And
it.
so it's like, in that sense, when I'm looking at that, that's completely not comfortable.
Right.
Right.
So I'll say this when it comes to occupation. When I know people aren't driven to improve,
Mm-hmm.
I like to use their comfort to my benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're comfortable and I can advance, well, that's cool because you're happy, I'm happy, everybody's happy. and oftentimes when I move forward and I can keep them in a good place, then it makes everything structured. Because once I know where every piece of the puzzle fits, it makes for a smooth ride.
Yeah.
Just if you can serve those around you,
Yep.
then they will want to serve you, which then helps, all ships rise, basically.
Yeah. And yeah, then going back to that work example, because I've got that, and then there's like other aspects where it's like my day-to-day life, what I do every day. I could do the exact same thing every day and not have a problem. Well, not outside of work. Outside of work.
Right.
Like, just like, wake up at this time, go to work, get home at this time, go to the gym, do whatever, then go to bed at this time.
Nice.
Like, every single day. And so that's where it's like, that would be, to me, that seems like a comfortable aspect.
I see it as structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely structure.
But then when it comes to other things, I'm the complete opposite, which I find interesting.
Yeah.
Especially
Well,
when I think about it.
I think people are, as you said, interesting. So and that's good. So yeah, I appreciate you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Thank you.
Thank you as always, Mr. Superon. I'll catch you next week.